Okay, standard
Right.
4, content knowledge.
And you did positional words.
Yes.
So I was actually surprised that they knew what that meant when you first said, we're going to do positional words. And I was thinking, wow, that's a really big word for 5-year-olds.
Well, I do use it in show and tell.
Well, there
so.
you go.
So we've had
building on what they already know. There
so
you go.
That did help.
Yep.
I thought this was a good lesson for content knowledge, like all my other ones.
Yeah.
I make sure I use a variety of approaches
Which
to learning.
you do. You did the video, you did the book video, you did the songs, more than one, the game, and then the centers.
Right.
So.
And the getting up and moving around.
And
I think that's a key for this age and certainly for this class. I thought I used a wide variety of resources. I didn't actually own that book, which is why we watched on the smartboard. So where were we without technology?
Right, absolutely. You use the technology really well too. The video, the music there.
So the multiple representations was an easy one with this lesson. But also the prior knowledge. We had, like I said, I exposed them to that language all throughout the year with show and tell. So we learned adjectives and we learned positional words with our show and tell. It's just built in. But to actually, this was our first attempt at really formally introducing the lesson. So this was ground zero. I mean, this was the very first time we've done this. So, which kind of lent itself well for Standard 4 because of the student misconceptions. So we had some real captured on camera opportunities for me to help redirect them and help them understand what I was really talking about. So they kind of merged into action verbs. And that was pulling them back out and remembering that we're talking about where something is, the position of it.
Yep.
Is there something on the back? The academic language, we used it a lot. We used it in many different ways.
And I liked how you did it with the game, the where's the little dog gone. You chose someone who you knew would be successful. I know that. and so you had her do that, and then
I actually just drew the stick.
Well, that's good.
So yeah, I did.
That's good.
The first stick got put back because that was the child that I had said, if you don't change your behavior, you won't be able to participate. So Jack's stick was drawn, and I put it back, and then Taylor.
So it was good though that you knew she could do that, and so then she got to use the words, follow your directions, and then she got to use the words in telling the next person. And
there would have been a lot more support with my lower kids as far as being able to use them, because that's the tricky part of this lesson is they're generally pretty good at following positional words. They've heard them enough in everyday life, but to actually be able to use them, and that was actually the part in the video that you see at the end where there was the misconception was actually my high achieving group. So interestingly enough, they still struggled, and that's because it's brand new. This was the first time we've used it. So,
but I like how Taylor was able to do 3. You were able to tell her 3, but then when you got to like Sophia, who I know was in one of your lower groups, you stuck with like 1 or 2, and kept it pretty simple, high or low. So differentiating in that for them as and you could do that with that game. It wasn't everybody had to use that word. You could change it as they came up.
Yeah, and they actually stayed engaged in the game. I was a little worried because I wanted to give everybody an opportunity to play, but I think just wondering if they were going to find it, made them feel like active participants too. So, and as we got towards the end, they were even more familiar with positional words, so it got faster.
A little bit easier,
fortunately.
So good. I think it went really, really well.
I didn't show, but we did use the iPads for the summative assessment later on. It's not recorded because that's kind of boring to watch kids just take assessments on iPads. But the AssessMe app has positional word, and it tracks their progress and lets you know how many they got wrong. So that was great. Yeah, it was perfect. And it's documented. So that was the only other digital tool that I used.
You, so I was looking at with their misconceptions as you were doing that, you kind of were able to, and you worked with everybody, and so you were able to kind of feel out how they were doing and then redirect it as they went to the action verbs instead of
the lower group never got to, in this lesson on that day, never got to the point where they could use the vocabulary themselves as a teacher. We actually had to go back to the carpet, get out the stuffed animals again, and do it that way. That was really the only way that they were consistently successful. So, which was interesting. They really needed that kinesthetic, the movements. They
right.
really did need
well,
that.
Well, and even your high group, I noticed you had to tell them not to put the bear where they were thinking.
Right.
Like,
well,
you don't put it on top.
The teacher can't give the answer.
Because they're going to all do that.
They're so used to being students.
They wanted to, though.
Yeah.
They wanted to be able to, because they were thinking it. I could see it. They were thinking it in their head. I want to put it on top of the tree.
Yeah.
And so that's where it's going to go. I want to put it there.
Yeah.
That was
they do love to play teacher, though.
So. They do. Because they have a great way to practice.
They like to,
They want to be just like you. So, good job.
Yeah.
Overall.
All right.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah.